What's up, guys? Here with you with FC Wonderkid. Here with my guy, Brenton. How are you? I'm always gonna love saying this, man.
I'm here. I'm here. I am staring at a camera, and no, I'm ready to talk about Brazil. We're gonna talk about Brazil, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Brazil, people, and put your predictions before you hear ours of who's gonna start for Brazil and how is it gonna go in that group with Dark Horse Serbia. Okay, don't sleep on Serbia, community.
Don't.
But with the roster, okay, we have some shocking decisions of no Gabi goal, which I 100% agree with. If it's to start to get Martinelli on the plane. Martinelli on the plane, I understand no Gabi goal. Personally. But I don't think Gabi goes too happy of seeing Pedro.
No, his
teammate being selected ahead of him. But Pedro scored like 12 Copa Libertadores goal.
He did.
So,
but Gabi goal has basically led them to every trophy they've won in the last few years. So it's
2 Libertadores in the history of Flamengo's 3. So that is elite.
That's tough.
So, but let's get to the roster. So from the lineup. So who starts for you, Ederson or Allison?
Allison.
I
think he's Allison's trusty. He's trusty. I think there's complete faith in him, and I don't think that's the 100%. Aside from Neymar starting, that's 100%.
100% Allison and Neymar. Completely agree. And with the defense, so this is where we can have some differences.
Yes.
But in a 4-2-3-1, I go with an Alexandro, Marquinhos, Éder Militão, and at the right, Daniel. So I'm trusting those fullbacks back in the day at Porto. Great memories.
Yeah, I like that. So you're going partnerships from way back. I'm going partnerships from like recently.
Okay.
So yes, I agree with the fullbacks. I'm going left back Alexandro. I'm going right back Danilo. They're the 2 Juventus fullbacks. If you really want to get crazy, because Juventus is not that great defensively, you could start Bremer at center back, who has been one of the brighter spots for them this year. But no, I'm actually going to go with the old PSG partnership of Marquinhos and Thiago Silva.
Starting.
Now, Thiago Silva has not been at his best this year. I think we are starting to finally see maybe the decline happen. But I do think he is still good enough to help them get out of that group. And there's going to be rotation. But I will start with the familiarity between Marquinhos and Thiago Silva.
And I want to give a shout out because we're talking about the fullbacks. I got to say this. In my opinion, Pepe from Porto is disrespected 100% because he has to be considered an underrated player because he deserves, in my opinion, to be on that plane to Qatar, okay? Against Athletic Madrid, he balled out at right back. And he can play 2 in midfield and at the winger role.
Yeah, and I saw Twitter alight with that exact same sentiment. So I think there's a lot of people out there that agree with you on that. But there are also, Twitter is alight because there's a certain Arsenal player here. A certain Arsenal player, not here.
Yes.
Even though he is at the top of the Premier League table. So Gabriel Magalhães.
Magalhães.
Yeah, you just say that next time. I'll just go Gabriel.
Magalhães.
There it is. He's not there, okay?
True.
And if you take the center backs separately, you might understand why.
Yes.
But you could also understand his exclusion. But here's what it comes down to. The weakest spot on the field right now for Brazil is the fullbacks. It's the fullbacks. It's not the center backs. I think, to be honest, the only thing you potentially could do is put Gabriel Magalhães in for Thiago Silva.
Yeah, but then Militão can play at the right. He can even slot the left. The center back. That's why I really like Militão starting always because he offers that diversity. And that with fullbacks, you got Renan Lodi, which horrible decision to go to Nottingham Forest, which cost him. It cost him this World Cup call-up. And Pepe snubbed off. And Caio Henrique. Shout out to Caio Henrique, okay? Great fullback in Brasileirão. And if we see Pedro there, I could imagine Caio Henrique getting the call up too, in my opinion.
And
no?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a little positivity on the Renan Lodi front. He did score for Nottingham Forest, I believe, and they did kick out Antonio Conte's Spurs in the Carabao Cup. So just a little shout out there, but I think that was a little too little too late.
Yeah,
too little too late.
Exactly.
Because Nottingham Forest is getting relegated. But, I mean, do you feel like this back line is good enough to support what obviously is an all-star cast at the front in their quest for a World Cup?
I feel like this defense of Brazil is world-class still.
Okay.
The fullbacks, I do understand that they are a bit fringe, considering Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Dani Alves, Marcelo from back in the day.
Yeah.
But Alisson offers a lot of structure. Marquinhos, like, experience too. I really think, like, the back line, I think they're fine. And Casemiro leading that back line from the midfield.
True.
And Fabinho off the bench. And Fabinho can even go right back.
That's true.
He can go right back. I remember seeing Fabinho at Rio Ave here in Portugal. The first time I saw Fabinho play was a fullback. I was like, who's this guy? Tall guy. Great fullback.
and you know, the funny thing here is if the fullbacks can't get any output going, if they can't get any crosses in, you always have Alisson, right? You know, Alisson could just shoot it right down the middle like he always does. No, I'm just kidding.
And if the fullbacks don't play, like they always have Dani Alves, Dani Alves is in the Brazil.
Alves is on this.
Yes,
Wow.
39 years old, and he's clearly in the team for team dynamics, okay? It's not because of his ball-playing ability right now, and in the locker room, he must be very, very important. Let's not forget, like, Marcelo did surpass him, but he's, like, one of the players with the most trophies ever in the world of football.
But Xavi didn't need him anymore. So,
But Tite says, I need that man.
And there is obviously a relationship there.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
But yeah, Dani Alves is the oldest person, I believe, ever called for the Brazilian national team.
What?
I believe so.
One heck of a stat, man.
I could be wrong. I don't know if they called up like Romario at 40 or Bebeto at 40, but they might have. But I'm pretty sure Dani Alves for a World Cup is the oldest.
What a stat.
Yeah.
They could have done the youngest with Hendrik, man. Ronaldo Nazario suggested that Hendrik should have gotten that call-up like he did in the past, and like Kaká in 2002 got that trust. Pass the torch.
There's like a Gabriel Jesus between Dani Alves and Hendrik in terms of years.
Yes,
I mean, 39 and 16. That's 23, and Gabriel Jesus a little
26.
older than that.
Yeah,
But
it makes sense.
My goodness.
My
But
days.
bring him for the. Wow.
No, that's what Ronaldo
Bring him for the vibes.
Facts, but he'd learn a lot.
He would learn a lot.
So do you agree with Ronaldo Nazario? Put down below in the comments, because it's a bold thing. FC Wonderkid, we want to know.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this? But
It's too bold.
midfields now. Said Casemiro leads this back line.
Yeah.
So I believe they should start, in my opinion, Paquetá with Casemiro. No, they will start. I'm sorry, not
They
should.
will.
They will start Paquetá with Casemiro and Neymar in that 10 role. Do you agree with me?
I do agree, although begrudgingly I agree. I would rather.
So we both agree that Paquetá, Casemiro, Neymar will start.
Yes.
But who should? Casemiro, Neymar, and
Bruno.
Guimarães.
There it is. His last name, or whatever.
Guimarães, it's a
Guimarães.
city here in Portugal.
Guimarães.
Oh, that was good. That was pretty good. I'll be honest. That was pretty good.
As long as we're not doing Besiktas.
But there's
or whatever
Fred
it is.
too.
Yeah.
Fred too. Fred's going to be a super sub in all this.
He is. He might even start a game.
Oh, that's bold, but I could see Fred starting a game.
I think he will.
Oh!
I think he will start a game here.
But that's mad if he starts a game ahead of Bruno Guimarães, man. That's absolutely mad, in my opinion.
It's a long tournament.
Hey,
If you're going to the end, you're gonna use quite a bit of your squad.
It's like Palhinha in the Euros. Like we managed to use them at the end. So I feel like Bruno Guimarães will grow to that role too.
I
You
hope
agree?
so. Yeah,
Okay.
I hope so. And you never know. I mean, injuries, there's all sorts of things. I think Bruno's going to get his chance.
But we definitely must have some points that we disagree upon with the trio, okay, of forwards, okay? And I really believe that Brazil, the sauce of Brazil is right here, okay? If they're going to win the World Cup, it's right here. And I love the inclusion of Martinelli in this lineup because it shows, man, this is going to be key, the substitutions, in my opinion. Key to win this World Cup. So, How do you line up? I'm very curious, Preston, to know.
I love the inclusion of Martinelli as well. He's a moment maker, right? He can get that done, but he's not going to start, right? Obviously.
Fuck.
So when it comes to the front, I'm looking on the left. I almost see it as a slam dunk. On the left, you're going to start with Vinny.
Fuck.
Okay, Vinicius Jr. I don't know, Vinny. My cousin Vinny. It's a great movie if you've never seen it. Up top. Okay, up top is where I am a little bit torn. Richarlison or Gabi Jesus for me. Gabi Jesus offers quite a bit, but I just feel like they need a little bit of size. Richarlison's not big, but he is kind of a bull in the china shop type of striker that will break some defenders down, and he is absolutely ruthless. So I do think, begrudgingly, the second time I've used that word, I'm going to say Richarlison's going to start up top, and I'm going to say on the right side, this is, I think, where we defer. I'm going to start Rodrigo.
Ooh.
I'm going to start Rodrigo.
I don't think Rodrigo starts.
Because I think there's too much sauce.
Rafinha.
I think there's too much sauce. I like the wing dynamic. I like the two interplay, the Vinicius and Rodrigo at Real Madrid. I understand Real Madrid is not Brazil, and Brazil is not Real Madrid, and this is not Ancelotti running the team. But at the same time, they have an understanding of each other. Anthony's going to get his time. Who am I missing? Rafinha is obviously going to get his time. So I think there's going to be a split role, but I would start Rodrigo.
I do. This is going to be my... It can be bold for some people. Yeah. I think Rodrigo, it's with Neymar type beat. Okay? This is my starting. I'd start at the left, Vinicius. Forwards, Richarlison, I think, will start too. Okay. And at the right, I go Rafinha. Because Rafinha for Brazil... He goes bold. Yeah. And that goal, that Frankie de Jong pass, that was a great goal, that header. And I really believe Rafinha is going to be in top form leading up to this World Cup. But I think Anthony will be the direct replacement for Rafinha. But here's the important thing in all this. Brazil, in my opinion, have the best options off the bench, okay, forwards. Rodrigo, clutch, and Martinelli, clutch. Like the speed that they offer and the attacking threats, and Pedro. Pedro learned from Gabigol that he can score a goal anytime off the bench too. So I really believe in terms of direct impact for games, Brazil is very, very ready.
How much sauce is too sauce? How much sauce is too much sauce, I should say. I don't have a way with words right now, but that is an actual question that you have to think about with Brazil, because you can only play so many attackers. You can only fit so much sauce on the field. So when it comes down to it, it's whether or not the three that start are up for it, and whether or not these subs actually make their impact, and whether or not Tite gets it right.
This is last dance.
But it is. And I do have to say one thing. There's two thoughts I have here. But the Pedro, if you watch him making the team and you don't tear up, that's pretty hard to do. Because then I believe he is the one that gets down on one knee and happens to... What is that called? Oh my! He gets engaged. He gets engaged to his fiance.
Yes.
That's Pedro, right? I don't think I'm getting the wrong Brazilian here,
Pedro.
Because it was not a lock that Pedro was going to be in this team. And obviously, when you're on a team with as much sauce as Brazil has, it is one hell of an accomplishment. And he had to score a lot of goals to even be in contention for this. But I think with an attack like this, that second thought. With an attack like this, if Brazil does not win, okay, if Brazil does not win, then they have failed.
Ooh, yeah.
It's not. I mean, I think you're going in as odds-on favorites next to Argentina. It's probably both of them have similar odds. I actually don't know the odds. We should probably look them up. But they've got to be kind of co-favorites here.
I'd say Brazil's favorite for this. And Neymar, too. Neymar has publicly said, just like Messi, that it's going to be his last World Cup. And I honestly,
That's a shame, because he's got time.
He could go to the States. And he might go.
We didn't think he'd be enjoying club ball these days, and he's enjoying club ball, even with the Kylian Mbappe, drama queen stuff. Messi did change his mind. So I'm going to call a bluff on that. I think he's going to play another.
I feel that too. But interesting, too, is Martinelli's story with all this.
Oh, yeah.
In the last World Cup in 2018, Martinelli was playing in the 4th tier in Brazil, having trials in Man United, okay? Wrong decision, and Arsenal went bold. 6 million, very, very well spent, okay? And now they have a World Cup player at 21. Especially Brazilian, man.
Yeah.
Like, but let's go here with the lineup that we have,
Recap.
okay? So we're going to say not what will, but what we want to line up. So I'd like Alisson at goal, then Alexandro, Marquinhos, Militão, and Danilo. Then the three in midfield. Casemiro, Bruno Guimarães, and Neymar in that 10 role. And then I think Vinicius Junior, Richarlison, and at the right, Rafinha.
We've only got a few differences here, and I don't think they're that earth-shattering. I understand. I think yours is closer to what is actually going to be played, aside from the Bruno versus Paqueta. But I've got goalkeeper Alisson, left back Alexandro. I've got Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, center back pairing, Danilo on the right, Casemiro and Bruno Guimarães.
Yeah, that was really good.
Neymar at cam, and then up top I've got Vinny, Richarlison, and my little wrench in this is I'm gonna throw Rodrigo in there. He's a man of big moments these days. I'm not saying he's better consistently than Rafinha, but he is showing a different self these past few months.
That is a bold call. I gotta say.
And while we're talking about this, while I agree with the snub, it does pain me a little bit that Roberto Firmino is not here.
Oh, yes.
It does pain me because he has more goals, more Premier League goals than a lot of these guys that are listed here.
Fuck.
Anthony.
Gabriel Jesus, no?
Yeah, and there's a lot of craziness down the right side. And Roberto Firmino, while he might not play the way he does with Klopp and Liverpool, he is a connector. And he is a guy that can do a lot of things and play a lot of roles.
True.
So I really do think that if we're going to look back at a misstep, it's probably not going to be Gabriel at center back getting left back as the biggest snub. It's probably going to be Firmino not being there.
And Pepe.
Because nobody in that, right? Nobody in the striker role has that skill set. But then again, if Tite's not going to use the skill set...
But the thing here with Firmino is for Brazil, he's never shown that finisher. He's always that player.
World Cup brings the dog out of people, right? Come on.
But I like how you said about the 10. He can play at the 10, and Everton Ribeiro's there. Ribeiro, that's the player. That's the player I'd be like, Firmino can do that role. But I understand for Flamengo, Everton Ribeiro went very bold, and for me as a European. Like, it can be seen as an underrated player, not seeing Brasileirão as much. But Firmino, Gabriel Magalhães, Renan Lodi, all Premier League players. So it's interesting enough, like, that's not the biggest factor to play for Brazil if you play in the best league in the world. So, people, do you agree with us? Do you agree with our selections of the Brazil national team? Tell us down below in the comment section. And please, don't forget to like this video and go bold in that comment section, people.
Brazil gonna win this thing?
I think so. So let's wait and see, community.